If a driver purchases G gallons of gas that cost D dollars per gallon, the total cost of the gas will be GD dollars. Evaluate GD for G equals 10 and D equals 349. What does your result mean in this situation? So as much as possible when you're given a story problem that you can relate to, think about yourself in this situation. If you have a car, you got to put gas in it sometimes. If you're going to buy gas, however many gallons you have times the price per gallon is going to give you the total amount that you're going to have to pay. So this problem is giving us that information. Total cost of gas will be GD. And notice there's no operation sign here. So that tells us we've got juxtaposition going on, and we can rewrite that as G times D with the multiplication dot if we want to, or we could just remember that that juxtaposition means multiply. So when I see GD, that means G times D. Now we're being asked to evaluate. Evaluate G times D for G equals 10 and D equals 3.49. What does your result mean in this situation? So we're going to evaluate, and then we're going to explain what our result means. So let's write down our original expression that we're going to be evaluating here. We're going to be evaluating GD. And notice both of those variables are given to me lowercase, and so I want to be sure to keep them lowercase. Now we're going to take the values. G equals 10. So we're going to take the G out. We're going to slip the G out, and we're going to put 10 in its place. And then we'll do the same thing with the D. The D is going to slip out. We'll put in 3.49, so that's like $3.49. Put that in its place. And now we're going to evaluate this. We're going to go ahead and do the math. We've done the substitute step. Now we're going to simplify. Well, 10 times 3.49. Well, if you remember when we multiply a decimal number by 10, it just moves that decimal point one place. So my answer would be 34.9. Okay, so that's very nice if we were just dealing with a generic math problem. But remember, this is a problem having to do with gallons of gas and the cost per gallon and the total cost of the gas. So what does this expression mean? What does this number mean? Well, let's write that out. So this result means, let's see, what does it mean? Well, we knew that G was 10. What was G? G was the number of gallons of gas. So this result means if I purchase 10 gallons of gas, and remember it was G times D. What did D stand for? D was the dollars per gallon. Okay, so if I purchase 10 gallons of gas that cost $3.49 per gallon, the total cost of the gas will be, remember that the total cost was what we got when we multiplied G times D. The total cost will be 34. And remember, this is money. And when we write money, we don't just write 34.9, right? We have to put 2 decimal places because with money we go out to the nearest cent. So $34.90. This is where we really have to pay attention to what our answer means. I don't want to just write down 34.9. That doesn't make sense in terms of money. We want to be sure that our answer makes sense in the context of the problem that we were given. And so this is how we would respond to that last part of the question. What does your result mean? Be sure to give all the information clearly.